Yo, what's good, Relocation Football League fans? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my microphone, man. I'm trying to I could see that the sound was playing, but unfortunately, um there was no audio once again coming through my headset. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I'm going to be going live here with the podcast. No, we haven't had a podcast in a little minute. I'm going to also just leave it open. I did last minute ask, Mix and Bill, see if they were looking to get on the pod tonight. Of course, all of us have been busy. So yeah, you guys already know what's going on with that. But welcome to the podcast. It's just the 7th episode that we've had this season, already going into week 11. So we've missed about 4 to 5 podcasts this season. Again, what I plan on doing is trying to make this thing shorter. I know I say this all the time. So what I'm going to do, I'm about to just hop into what the final scores were. And after I talk about what the final scores were, show the graphics and everything for that, I'm probably just going to hop on straight on to the next topic. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how we're going to roll. Let me go ahead and check out the stream, see how it's going. And my phone's about to die. So let me go ahead and get a charger piece on that. But what's going on, everybody? I see we got CP in the building, Perk. We got Hodge in the building. Pat, Dorian, Mir, what's going on, y'all? EJ Bailey, Ronnie, Coach Frankie. Yeah, shout out to the guys, man. Shout out to the guys as always. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this, right? We're gonna go ahead and get those scores shown from this week. I posted them up on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, and X. And let's go ahead and get a look at those scores, man. And I do have you can see right there, I do have the game up and ready. We're gonna be going through divisions. No games have been played yet, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. But let's go ahead and get into the score. So the first game that we had of the week, the Miners managed to defeat the Voyagers 27-23. Miles McCain took over that game. 3 rushing touchdowns on 3 rushing attempts. What I was a little bit questionable about with this game was the fact that, shocked more so, the Voyagers literally they just did not show up at all. Offense couldn't get anything done. It was great defense all around played by the Miners. And they come out here and dominate those Voyagers at home. And that's a big win for the Miners, right? Because with that win, that keeps them almost close to 500, but it also keeps them in the division. And they're hoping for the Aviators to falter some more. They're close with the Red Dragons. They've already beaten the Red Dragons, and they got to play again this season. So this keeps their playoff hopes a bit alive, even though they're under 500. We'll see where this goes. As for the Voyagers, they are bottom of their division now at 5-4, but still a tied up record with the Sentinels and 2 games away from both the Armadillos and the Dreadnoughts. So big win right there for the Miners. Second game of the week, which was on Tuesday, kicked off. The Celtic Tigers were able to score in the final seconds. Man, I thought this game was over. It was I'd say it was a pretty good performance despite the interception. Ronnie Shanahan played as good as he could. Both defenses really showed out within this game. And the Celtic Tigers just proved to be an aging team that you still just cannot sleep on. Justin Jones is showing the clutchness like Dre used to have back in the day for Dublin. He was able to lead them down the field and score in the final seconds to win that game 23-19. As you can see there, he did throw an interception as well. I think, both of them threw an interception, and it went to the house for a pick 6. And the only offensive touchdown was scored in those final seconds by the Celtic Tigers, and that's how they were able to win that game. Definitely a lot of classics, I think, happened this week, and that was a big one right there. Big dub for Dublin. They improved to 6-4. That division is stacked. Everyone in the ARC East right now has 6 wins. And other than the Celtic Tigers, who played an extra game than all the other 3 teams, the other teams had 3 losses. They have 4, and the Celtic Tigers have a bye week. So that's a really big division to be looking at right there. That is just going to be competitive all the way. I saw Chosen even post about that in the Discord. As for the Hogs, man, that makes it 4 straight L's in a row. I know it's tough, but at least they're starting to get a little bit closer. We know they looked very shaky against the Pioneers the week before. They got got beat down. And The Hogs, I mean, they're starting to really falter. Good thing they started out with that strong start with 6-0 because they still currently lead the division. But for how long, though? We'll dive into that, of course, when we get a look at the divisions and everything, how close things are. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. He said, Smitty said, it's my fault. My fault, Reed is booty cheeks. Who said it's your fault? Well, if you're wearing that 40, you know what I mean? That's gonna damage anyone's reputation, right? That 40 was the worst decision you probably made in your life, bro. I can't get that back, but you're just gonna have to find a way to make it work, bro. Find a way to make it work. Still can't believe you got out that Mike Jordan number 440 clip. But anyway, the Cougars, man, let's get a shout out to Coach Roby and the Cougars, man. They finally did it. I still don't have an applause button for at least the third year I've been saying this, which is crazy. But I will also say this, man. I gotta play the bell. The first bell of the night's gonna go to Roland, though. I don't know if the bell played or not, because I can't hear it in my headphones. I don't even know why I got the headphones on if I can't hear anything at this point. I really don't know, but I guess I'll keep them on. It feels natural, I guess. Be on a podcast without them, I probably feel weird. But yeah, Ramos came in and won a game. Now, will I say that the struggles are gone for the Cougars on the offense? It looks way better with Ramos running the charge, right? The issue, though, is this offense still only scored 13 points. So think about that moving forward. Ramos definitely had the locomotion of the offense better, but they only scored 13 points still. And this is the most points they've scored all season of 20, and they tied that. So, I mean, great job getting it done. I have nothing but the utmost faith in the Chicago Cougars defense. I mean, they're a top 5, I believe, defense all around, if not at least top 10 in most of those categories. Definitely one of the better defenses in the league. And it's tough to start out with 8 straight losses, and you finally get your win here because they've had the talent, man. They got rid of some guys, too, that, you know, were kind of crucial to the team. You know, CP's gone. We saw Markel. Both the safeties are gone. But you know my philosophy, man. Safeties, I'm not a big safety guy. Like, of course, every position is important. You need all 11 on the field. But I always feel like you could get away with safeties. And speaking of safeties, I got to give a shout out to another Miami native prospect that's not a player, it's a generic. And that is Brian Brown, who had a pick 6 in this Cougars game. And he took it back to the crib, and that's really what kickstarted this Cougars team, in my opinion. Once that went going, and you saw Ramos, you know, just the defense really carried, but Ramos was just keeping the offense afloat, getting down the field, got a couple field goals. You know, that was huge. That was huge, and that's what got them this win. Got to play the bell for Chum Lee too, man. Chum Lee out there got did in, man. And you know what? I'm not saying this yet, but Roland, we kind of told you, bro. We told you about Chum Lee. We told you. We told you this guy. This is the same thing he did the year before. He came in killing with the Dillos. Came in killing with the Dillos last year. He's like, oh, snap. This Chum Lee ain't no bum. He ain't no bum no more. He going to be balling. In the second half of the season, it started looking like this. We told you. I'm not saying that it's going to keep going because I'm going to give you another bell too, Roland. Why you change the offense? And then I really should give you a bell because I told you about that read option. You sat up here and tried to run a read option, and first of all, they ain't even do it. Change up an offense that was #1 offense in the league because you tried to run read option, you took an L. Just get it out of your head that the read option will ever work in the RFL, bro. This L is on you completely, bro. Like, real talk. Like, how do you do that? You had the best offense rolling, and you changed it and lost to a team that didn't win a single game this season. Catch this bell, Roland. I'm sorry. My man's and all, but yeah, that's L-Mans right there. That's definitely L-Mans to change up a #1 performing offense to try to run some read option. And your boy fumbled trying to run. He couldn't even get out the pocket. Terrible. Anyway, yeah, that deserved L right there, Roland. But anyway, yeah, Chum Lee played horrible. Cougars got their first win, man. Shout out to Chi-Town, man. Not going to stay up on these games, like I said, too long, so I'll just go ahead and move on. I got to play the bell for Kennard, man. Shout out to Kennard, man, getting the opportunity to coach a little bit, but definitely had to get the bell for not recording this game. He recorded it, but it took a L. Just didn't show up for whatever reason. But coaches gotta send me the link when you stream. All right, when you stream, it's gonna let you know, for one, if it's working. If I can see it, then it's definitely working. All right. If you just gonna try to send me the link after, that's a big risk that you're running, because you don't know if it recorded or not. And unfortunately, we have lost 2 games because of this. And like I said, moving forward, if any coach is to miss opportunity to stream, to send that link early so we can see if it's working, man, you're getting suspended. And that includes your top 3 players, user or not. All right. This is just what has to come with the league. I know the players would hate this, but this is where you got to start placing your frustration on your coach for not doing his job. Your coach is going to cost you a chance at playing. And at that point, it's not my fault. Yeah, I set the rule, but it's not my fault. Your coach didn't pay attention. But we're going to give Kennard, we gave him that 1 bell. That's all he's going to get. He's going to get the 1 bell because it was his first time doing it. And he did have a test stream that did work. So it's not really too much I could talk about with this game, other than the fact that I did know that this game went into overtime. And with this game going into overtime, the Sentinels were able to pull it out. We almost got our first tie. That's what Kennard told me. It sucks, man. He said this game was fire. Definitely fire, but unfortunately just did not go get recorded, man. So another bell, though. I got to give you a second bell, Kennard. You got it next time, though, bro. Moving on to the next game. Geno Gannon. That's all I got to say. Have you guys, I know y'all been paying attention to how this guy's been playing, but another name to throw into the pot is the guy on this cover right now, Ayush Patel. Ayush Patel has been balling for the Black Knights now for about 2-3 seasons. Young guy. He's already out there with Amari Harris. Amari Harris hasn't really been too involved in terms of like big plays. And Geno Gannon has missed Amari on a couple of bombs. So he definitely could have had at least 100 to 150 extra yards had he been able to connect with him on those streaks, which is what Amari does. But I feel like that's definitely coming down the line, in either this season or moving forward in the future years. But yeah, the Black Knights obliterated the Aviators. The Aviators have been beating everybody that they've been coming into contact with, and they lost by 22 points. Geno Gannon now leads the league again in passing touchdowns with 22 to just 6 interceptions, and I believe he has 7 rushing touchdowns. So this guy's almost got 30 total touchdowns right now. And it's only when we're going into week 11. Still the front runner for the MVP, I'm sure. It really feels like he's going to get that done. I don't think he won league MVP, though, before. League MVP in season 6 did go to Dre Correll, which was his rookie year. Was that, did it go to Dre? I got to go back and check that now, because Dre did win his first. He won his first MVP, so I think that did go to Dre, if I'm not mistaken. He was put up some yards. I gotta look that back up, but I think I'm correct on that. But yeah, the Aviators big time beaten. I don't know why they went away from 2K. They didn't run them as much as they really should have. And Kyle Bain, he was getting sacked up, just really couldn't get anything going. It's good. Just good defense, good offense, good everything from the Black Knights, man. They're just continuing to shock us this season, and they look like they're about to be playoff bound. It's been a while. They haven't done that since Holden Wolf, who's now a Crusader. So pretty interesting. We're going to talk about records, so I'm not even going to go into records anymore. Moving on to these games. Big win for the Black Knights. Then we had the Monarchs come up with a big win over the Shamrocks, 38-22. You can see the guy gracing this poster right now, Preston Strader. He lit it up, man. He had, I believe it was 4 touchdowns in the first half. Dude was going crazy. And so the pass game was in full effect. They got some good veteran receivers out there. Tom Wilson had his worst game, bro, through 4 interceptions. I was like, man, this ain't Tom. That was bad. Tom, that was definitely his worst game of the season. And I just was like, man, he just cannot seem to shake it. But this has happened to every quarterback this season, man. I feel like this is like real football. You're not going to have a guy ball every single game. You're going to have some of those trash games, and we've just seen it. Definitely seen it with Tom Wilson right there, who's still in the category for potential MVP. So, look out for that. But those 4 interceptions might have really hurt him. So, Big win for the Monarchs, as that even puts them within a game within the division, because it seemed like the Shamrocks were starting to run away for this. And this kind of helps out the Steamers, who we'll get to and a bell to in a little bit, because we know what happened to them. Same thing that happened to Roland. But big win for the Monarchs there, 38-22. The Diablos were able to jump back. They decided to start their veteran quarterback. Well, the second year he's been with them, but George McAfton. Everyone, been talking about this guy, how bad, of a career he kind of had starting out and everything. I always thought that this guy had potential. He didn't have the greatest game. I think he had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but he kept the offense afloat and had over 400 passing yards. So look out for George McAfton. This guy could be the answer to get the Diablos on track, because they beat Kai Cash and the Tigers down by 21 points here, 34-13. Just a bad all around showing, just the Diablos showing what they're capable of doing, man. The couple losses that they've taken has just been due to poor offense, and Forbes just decided, hey man, gave the old vet Lane Kearney these opportunities. He was great for us last year. This year, just not cutting it. Let's get the new blood in there who's got great experience and see if he's got what it takes to win. And they win in huge fashion. So that was big to definitely keep them up there in the division in the NRC South. Then we had the Steamers taking the L to the Marshals. Bell right here to the Steamers. And mainly that bell's got to go to one guy, and that is Reed Wagner, man. Reed Wagner has not been playing good the last 2 to 3 games. Now, I will say this. There's a lot of guys calling for Reed Wagner's head, saying that, get him out of there. We need to get, somebody else going, even Kurt Peterson, get him thrown in there. I'll be honest, man. That is not the move to make at all. I understand he's playing bad pretty much right now. I will say, I took him out of the Tampa Bay offense. A lot of teams got taken out of the Tampa Bay offense due to the fact that the delay of game penalties were the issue. The only team I kept in that, and they just showed that they were just that explosive, was the Celtic Tigers. And you can see what they're doing, right? Despite having those potential delay of game penalties. So I've started to bring teams back to Tampa Bay. We're going to put them back into Tampa Bay. The offense passing in was pretty good when they had that going, but you still did see those inconsistencies from Reed Wagner. But he's always honestly been that kind of quarterback for anybody who knows. Has it been this bad before? Maybe not since season 1 or season 2 where he got traded. More so season 1. But season 2, early on he threw those interceptions, and Coach Tour was like, nah, get him out of here. He was a Sentinel first, and he's been a Steamer ever since. But yeah, tough loss for sure for the Steamers, as they fall down to 4-6, and that was a division loss for them. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they still got a lot more division games left to play. That was the last division game, I think, for the Marshals. So they at least got one. They were 0-5 in the NRC East, and finally able to get victory right there, which kind of helps them out. But even if they tie up with anyone else in the division, I think every team has at least 2 wins within the NRC East. So they're shot regardless of even thinking they could flip the season around, which we know is just not going to happen, bro. Like, 8 straight losses. Ain't no way they're going to come out here and win 9 straight. But shout out to the guys. You see Lito, man, had to put him on a poster. Shout out to Lito, man. Staying strong with the organization. We got Coach Hodge over there getting his first win. And yeah, so shout out to the Marshals getting that done. And then the Red Dragons able to survive the Elks. I will say this about the Elks. The Elks are not really too much of a team to sleep on. They're 4-5, yes, but they've beaten some pretty good teams and kept a lot of games close. And another thing, too, don't sleep on Eric Fisher. He's silently been having a good game. Not a good game, a good season. Will they need a quarterback of the future still? I would say yes, because he's up there on the older end. He's 26 years old. But, I mean, you still got many years you could use him for there and help address areas elsewhere while drafting a quarterback to develop until, they get better. And so I do feel like the Elks, got to try to put some more things together for that to, kind of happen. But Eric Fisher is definitely proven to be a pretty solid quarterback right now. I mean, this guy was actually the offensive rookie of the year when he came in the RFL back in season 3. I don't know if anybody remembers that. He started out at Desperado. Of course, things have changed over the course for him. His second year after his good rookie season was bad. And then the year after that, I think he ended up getting traded. And so, he's just been a little bit of a journeyman. And here he is with the Elks, just doing what he can, being called when needed, and just keeping games close. Trying to win what he can. It's still close to 500. As for the Red Dragons, though, big win for them. I believe they jumped to 5-5. This is good for them to stay ahead of the Miners right now, who was able to get the win as we talked about earlier. So, yeah, the Red Dragons getting a much needed win here at home. I'm really starting to see the offense come together. Anthony Savoy is making defenses really struggle because you got to worry about him taking off. And then he's got a great receiver, as you can see here in Obey Kid, number 15. And this guy is balling, 91 overall. He's just becoming one of those top threat receivers, in the league. But 23-20, the final score there. The Crusaders beating the Barons. The Barons, you got to give it to the Barons. I know they're 2-7 right now. I think it's 2-8 actually. Yeah, 2-8. But these guys have been keeping a lot of games close. There's a lot of games that could have gone their way, but unfortunately just didn't. Ben Wakefield came back in this game and was able to get the win, did his thing out there. Had a big day from Alexander Colt, who was able to put up a touchdown and big yards on the defense. Dorian got sacked up. Got to give the bell to the offensive line. I saw Hove was upset about that, how things went. But hey, I guess the silver lining is that they get Q back this upcoming week, man. So we'll see if Q can get in there and not get injured. But shout out to Q, man. To see if you can make some plays, man. See if Dorian can get you a dub with how this offense has been kind of rolling. You guys not doing bad. Again, sometimes it's just you don't end up on the winning side of things, bro. That's all I can say. Sometimes you just don't end up on the winning side of things. And it's for a lot of teams, not just the Barons, that's just been the case. Do I think the Barons are a top-tier team? Obviously not, especially at this point, having to have to throw Dorian in. But, yeah, great pressure and pass rush, though, by L.A., man. The Crusaders were just bringing it. You can see he was getting chased down. I think it was only logical to put this photo to grace the final score graphic. These guys were definitely just getting in the backfield, destroying these offensive linemen, and making it uncomfortable for Chavis back there. The 31-28, once again, the final score there. And it looks like Marquise Washington is back to cooking. And the guy started out the first half with 3 touchdowns, 2 passing and a rushing touchdown. Was targeting it up with CA3. Cecil Austin III had over 100 yards in that game. We saw Tavion Hall go out with injury. I think he's back, though. I don't think anything sustained. And then he also was able to rush in to show that Nick Firestorm as a backup is a great option. He has some big runs. The backfield is stacked for the Desperados if any injury is to go down to Hall. We saw the Lumberjacks try to battle back, but again, we talked about how the Hogs are starting to drop off. Now the Lumberjacks are starting to drop off, and they're taking some tough losses, still leading the division and trying to separate away from the Explorers, who are hot on their trail. But we'll get to the Explorers, of course, towards the end of the last Premier games. With 31-26, the final score there. And the Condors, this is a team to look out for, guys. I think I said this the last podcast, but Chase McCoy is cooking. The defense is cooking. This is 2 back-to-back blowouts, though, for the Bulls, so I'll give a bell to the Bulls. Don't know what's going on there. David Jones is having a rough year this season. I don't even think he's got 400 yards rushing. They just haven't really been able to have him pop off. Devin Wade looks like he's starting to cool down. Can't get anything going for the offense. Still hasn't thrown many turnovers. He had a few here in this one. But the Condors are a scary team. I think this is 4 consecutive wins, and they're winning like convincingly getting dubs and against good teams. So if I'm, a Condors fan, if I'm facing the Condors this year, I'm a little bit worried. How do you slow them down with McCoy going off? But I think the biggest thing that is making them such a threat, especially on offense, even if McCoy doesn't have a great day, it's the running backs. The backfield, Cornell Mickens had a crazy run in this game. Like a crazy run. It was like a stop hesitation, had the players run into each other, then sprinted, outran everybody for like about a 30-plus yard touchdown. And when you have a running back that's constantly falling forward, it can hit you with any move, juke move, just all around bounce back. And then you got a rookie who's already fit enough to take his place, you know, in the near future with Chris Clark, and he's up for contract year. I'm almost to the decision. I'm the guy got to make the decision. I'm almost thinking, why not keep them both together for some more years? You know what I'm saying? I know Chris Clark wants to be that guy, but I mean, you got a running back like Cornell Mickens and him in the backfield doing stuff like that. I mean, that could be very dangerous moving forward. And I'm gonna be honest, Condors could very well be not only just a playoff team because that's how they look right now, but they could make it probably to the Reload Bowl. This season is so unpredictable, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. And I know you guys feel the same way. This has been a great season. I'm gonna be honest. It's very shocking that we're seeing a couple teams just not win as much. But again, got so used to those automatic wins, those high winning records, that now with everyone in one file, I think you're just really starting to see real football. There's no momentum built up for a team to just automatically be in that position to dominate as consistently. This is like real football, man. You see those games where it's like, oh man, I thought they would win that one and they just didn't. You're seeing teams that used to be at the bottom starting to raise up to the top because they have some pretty good talent. And what's also leveling this thing out a lot more is the fact that there's no abilities. So with all those changes, we're having the most competitive season, I would have to say, in the RFL. This has definitely been the most competitive season, in my opinion, especially amongst divisions. You know, we've always had some pretty good division battles, of course, with the auto wins anyway, and everything like that. But these divisions now are like they've had to earn every win this season, every single one of them. And those bottom half teams, man, you talk about the Armadillos, we talk about the Black Knights, who we didn't think were going to be as good as they were. The Aviators didn't think they were going to be as good as they were. I could list off a couple of teams looking off to the side here. Shamrocks didn't think they'd be 6-3 right now. Another team, I mean, even some letdown. Let's talk about the Thunderbirds being 3-6. The Huskies, even though they won 4-6. Steamers 4-6. Explorers 4-5. Like, who would have predicted this? You know, like, and honestly, if you look at the schedules, the strength of schedule also played a big role in this because they're having the better teams face each other. And so they're not getting those easy schedules. I'm not saying the schedules are easy in general or were in the past like that, but these are definitely been the toughest schedules that any teams have played throughout the RFL history. You know, those top end teams having to have to face each other, balancing out those records. I mean, you look at the Thunderbirds, even though they're 3-6, go back and watch what games would you say that they shouldn't have lost? You know, like maybe the Hogs, but the Hogs were on fire at that point. You know, the Miners game was great. The Miners are still a pretty good team, even though their record has been shaky like the Thunderbirds. They lost that game by 1 point. They just lost to the Huskies. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Explorers. These are formidable teams that they lost to. So it's, even though it sounds crazy that they have lost these games, and we're used to them winning like 10 plus double-digit games, like those losses aren't crazy. But when have they ever faced competition like that? When have they ever had to play these teams consecutively? And they still got heat coming. I think they still got they got to play the Diablos again, who's in their division. They managed to beat them, but they got to play the Snowhawks. I think that's their last 2 big games. But they do have the second half season where they could try to, flip things. But we're not even, on that team. I guess I'll talk more about that. But moving on, hey, this game was crazy. Gunners able to upset the Explorers on the road in Columbus, and it was a much needed win for just Tyon Nickerson, man. Right? He already had his first touchdown pass, but he threw 2 touchdowns in this one, threw 1 interception. But this was a big win. And you gotta bell the Explorers, man. They killed themselves, right? They definitely killed themselves. I gotta bell Daryl Johnson. He did not have a good game. But again, every quarterback this year has had a bad game. There hasn't been one quarterback, I don't think, that has had a bad game. Maybe I would say the only quarterback, and that's because he's not playing no more, and this guy took his place, was Jabri Jackson. Jabri Jackson, in my opinion, was probably going to have an MVP season with a terrible record, which is crazy. That's how wild he was going off. 17 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions, right? He said Instant classic games. He said I jumped on my seat at that. Yeah, that game was wild, man. The minute I saw the Explorer score, like that last touchdown, well, the last points they got to take the lead, and they were going down the field, I was just like, yeah, this game's over. And the way that they were moving down the field that last possession, then when he threw that bomb and that pass interference happened from Darius Young, at that point I was like, I'm gonna be honest, man, Tyon on that drive was kind of dotting up. He looked really good. He kind of had flashes of Tennessee in this game. And then it was like, yo, this is it. The last play of the game. Either you win it or you don't. Either you win it or you don't. And I'm going to give a shout out to Carlton Scruggs too. Carlton Scruggs was balling. A $140 plus receiving. And if you see some of the catches he was making in that game, he was mossing cats. One-handers. You couldn't stop him. And this is the reason why he was an early round draft pick at the receiver position. But dude ran a spot route, just a quick stick route, I have to say, because it's about 5 to 10 yards. Got the end zone. Well, it was 5 because obviously they were at the 1 yard line. Ran a stick route, turned around. Tyon Nickerson quickly threw it. And it's crazy because he missed him earlier on that play in the game, but hit him at the right time where it mattered most, and he won. And that is a big first career win for Tyon Nickerson, man. 22-20, the final score there. And then we get into the final game. Both of these teams needed this win, but somebody had to lose. Somebody had to lose, and unfortunately for the Thunderbirds on the road, they are the losers. And the Huskies, I say, got a rivalry against the Thunderbirds, even though they're not actual rivals, because this is the second time they played. They played in Reload Bowl 4, which is one of the greatest Reload Bowls that we had. And the comeback the Huskies had with Brady Hudson and Keith Guyton, winning his Reload Bowl championship that season as well, and having a great season. Then to come back and where they need it, they're 2-0 against the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds have not been able to beat the Huskies, and I guess this is the Huskies stamping it. Hey, we are rightfully the Toronto team. We deserve to be in this city. As for the Thunderbirds, I mean, the only reason they didn't take the city for the most part, but with their history, was just due to, the Huskies, they just sound better in Toronto. So that's the reason why we kept them there. And Atlanta was pretty good, and it pays homage, like I've said before, to a backbreaker team, which really set up the RFL to be created to begin with, which was the Atlanta Firebirds. And so ended up being the Atlanta Thunderbirds. But the Huskies, man, this was another team I threw back in Tampa Bay. And this is why I said Tampa Bay is when I say hit or miss, it's hit or miss in games, but when they're on, you're going to get yards. You're going to get plays with this offense for the most part. Most of the time you will. You will get explosive offensive play. But when you got Keith Guyton in that offense, especially working outside and slot, you can't cover this dude. It don't matter where he's at on the field. He's in multiple places on the field. And easily was just ripping off, and he keeps getting targets. He's always going to get open. 11 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. That was big because he had the touchdown that really extended. That was the last touchdown for them to win that game. Calvin Poole, he played fairly solid. Had some really good throws. He looked a lot more comfortable back in that Tampa Bay offense, and so I've just decided to start throwing teams right back in that Tampa Bay. And it's paying off for most teams. So big dub right there. Got to play the bell for LC3, man. Again, this receivers definitely had moments where they struggled to get open. These guys pretty much always have to seem to get open on a slant or something, which shout out to Devontae Sharkley. He took a slant to the crib. But other than that, he couldn't really get any meaningful yards. But there were missed passes by LC3. And this has not been the only game where he's missed those opportunities. He got 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions this year. I still put most of that on the receiving core just not being where it needs to be for him. I do feel like if you give LC3 some elite receivers, this guy's going off. He's still, despite the struggles, this guy still, I think he has the highest before this game, had the highest completion percentage of any quarterback in the league. And so it's really just a matter of just getting him the weapons, man. And just couldn't really pop off. And I guess, you can't always be the savior either. You can't always be that guy that's got to, that's going to be that successful passing the football every game. And so the receiving position is huge, is a huge need for the Thunderbirds. And you can see it's definitely wreaking its effects. It has been for years. And as for Marcus Knight, Mighty Mouse, he had a pretty good game on the crown. And Corey Leonidas had this one run, man. I'm gonna play the bell for Max Knight, defensive end. He has been fairly quiet. I think I'm gonna flip him back over to the other side. I think he can make some more noise on that left side. But man, he that's the second time he's got ran through for a touchdown. He got slapped to the side by Dre Shivers. I remember that, where he ran it in for a touchdown, ran through the rest of the team for the to actually win the game. And honestly, it's the same thing to really win the game, other than Keith Guyton's touchdown for Corey Leonidas. He stiff-armed him into a whole pile, bounced outside, and went in the end zone untouched for the touchdown. And they led, and that's what gave them that 7-point lead. So, I mean, not that particular play Keith Guyton's touchdown did, but still, without that touchdown, they don't win this game. So, bell for the Thunderbirds, man. You know, it's been rough, but again, these losses aren't losses where you're just like, yo, how are they losing these games? Same deal kind of for the Huskies. Huskies, I feel bad for, because for them, in their case, even though the Thunderbirds, all their games have been close, this is actually the most the Thunderbirds have lost by, which was 7. The Huskies had, at least out of their 6 games, I'd say 4 of them they should have won. And I say should because for whatever reason, the offense was on fire, and then they just cooled off and they couldn't win the game. You know, and I have to give that bell to Calvin Poole, because most of those games and failures have fell on him just trying to do too much, trying to scramble. We see he has the ability to take off and get out of there, right? We didn't think that, you know, in his first season in college, his second year, he kind of showed us, and he's running around now. But if he can kind of balance that out moving forward, I think the Huskies, man, they could definitely, you know, flip things around and win some games here, though. But 4-6, they're closing in. That division's up for grabs, and we'll go ahead and get into some division talks. But yeah, that's it for the games that we had to recap. So let's go ahead and get a look at the top 10 power rankings, though, coming into week 11 by Neon Sports. A new #1 team emerges, and it is the San Antonio Dreadnoughts at 7-2 from the ARC South. Jumping up 6 spots are the Condors. I talked about this team on how they are looking scary, right? They got swept by the Snowhawks. Tough, right? But man, they're balling right now, and they're still keeping pressure on the Snowhawks, even though they lost to them, and they currently lead the NRC West because the Snowhawks had a bye week. So the Snowhawks have to keep up with the Condors, even though they swept them, in order to take this division. This has been one of the most competitive divisions, I have to say, for years, though, the NRC West. And this is the only division in RFL football that did not change after realignment. The same teams: Crusaders, Elks, Condors, and Snowhawks. And the Condors and Snowhawks have really been the guys that have really been battling. Elks too, to be honest. Elks definitely have. They won the division a couple of times, but doesn't look like they're going to be that team, of course, this year. Aviators dropped from the #1 spot down to #3 after their loss to the Black Knights. Armadillo stayed in the same position despite their upset loss to the Cougars. At #5. The Desperados, who weren't even ranked last week, jumped all the way up into the top 5 rankings. And the Shamrocks, after their loss, it was a tough loss in the division, dropped 4 spots here to 6. Snowhawks stayed the same. Bulldogs jumped up 1. Black Knights weren't ranked. Now they're back in the top 10 at 9. And the Bulls are almost out of it after their back-to-back blowout losses where they've scored less than 14 points and gave up 30 plus. So it looks like teams have really found the weakness for the Bulls recently, as their defense just has definitely been the problem, but the offense too. I mean, 13 points the week before, and in this past week, 6 points. Offense is starting to lack. So they dropped those 5 positions right there. Shout out to CC. I'm going to go ahead and post this up on social media, but I had to put my boy CC on the poster. You know what I'm saying? The defense for the Dreadnoughts has been playing phenomenal. Me and Frankie were just, you know, messaging a little bit about that today. That defense can definitely take them a long way. And again, this is a season where, guys, we really don't know who's going to win the Reload Bowl here, man. There's no clear-cut team like it used to be for the most part. And, you know, even though the competition is raised up that much more, the RFL still has had a good rotation of teams winning championships, right? There's only been 2 teams that's won 2 championships. So out of the 8 seasons before this, half of those have been won between those 2 teams of the Red Dragons and the Bulldogs, right? And then after that, you had the Celtic Tigers. Let me see. Yeah, I already said the Red Dragons, said the Bulldogs. Season 3 was the Thunderbirds. So that's the 4th team. Season 5 was I'm not blanking on season 5. I'm not blanking on season 5. We want to reload bowl. See, oh yeah, Red Dragons again. So I already mentioned them. Season 6 was the Celtic Tigers. I already mentioned them. Season 7 was the Explorers getting their first one, and then season 8 Bulldogs again. So it's only been 5 teams to win a reload bowl. Am I tripping though? Let me recount this again, guys. I'm sorry. Bulldogs. I'm counting the season. Bulldogs 1. Red Dragons 2. Thunderbirds 3. Huskies. That's who I forgot to mention. It's 6 teams. Yeah, Huskies won that. So that's the 6 teams. So total of 6 teams have won a reload bowl. I want to ask the chat right now. Who do you guys think? Do you guys think that a new team that hasn't won a reload bowl will win a championship this year, or will one of those 6 teams find a way to win? Right now, the Huskies and Thunderbirds, they're already looking pretty bad. They look like they might not make the playoffs, right? So that already, in my opinion, pretty much eliminates 2. What's another team we could think of? The Bulldogs are still in it. Red Dragons, they're teetering. They might not even make it. So I think it might be a new team, man. I think it might be a new team. And so yeah, even Explorers right now. I mean, they took that tough loss to the Gunners. They kind of needed that win. You know, they kind of needed that win. Still think they can make the playoffs based off how the division going. But I see guys in the chat saying new team, new team. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a new team this year, guys. And I love it, bro. And you know what? At first, I was a little disgruntled too. Just seeing, you know, powerhouse teams just not be as effective as they used to be. But at the same time, this is good because a lot of guys will look at overall and just think that, oh, just because my team is this overall, we should be winning these games. And for the most part, they should at least look the part when they can. But that is also not real football. We know that in real football, we watch the NFL, there are teams that are stacked with talent who still end up having crap seasons. And this is the first time we're really experiencing that in the RFL. And I like it, bro, which means if this keeps happening, this is like real football. You don't know who's going to win a championship, right? And if a team actually does get consistent with this style of play to the point where they're still that dominant, where they're still going to the playoffs, still making the reload bowl and stuff like that, that's when you know you got a team like the Chiefs. You know, even though they lost this year at the Super Bowl, that's when you know we got a real contending team that is here to stay for a grip. But yeah, man, just a completely new season with just a all around different look, guys. This has just been an amazing season, to be honest, man. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know if you guys have even been paying attention to my spreads that I've been putting out on Neon Sports. Man, those I can't even get almost half the games right. You would think some games would be gimmies, like, oh man, they gonna beat them. Ain't no way they lose that game, and it'll be the very game that team loses. So it's been an amazing, a wild season. That's all I can say. Wild season. But yeah, that's the top 10 power rankings. Let's go ahead and get a look at this upcoming schedule, though. Right, I'm kind of going in different direction with things. I know I would usually hop in and talk about, you know, the order in which was on the thumbnail, but we're gonna save, you know, the division talk and the you know, the awards and stuff like that to get a look at, to see how that's shaping out right now for later. Right, we'll save that after we go through this. So I'm actually going Neon Sports right now from my end, and I'm gonna tell you guys who I have the spreads on as. You guys feel free to text in the chat who you guys think's gonna win this. I said, oh yeah, who you guys thinks are gonna win this week compared to these games. And then also I do have what I can do is I can have guys hop on through Discord to talk about certain things if they want to. I'll try to think about a topic. And I think that would be the best way. So if you're in the RFL Discord, you want to hop in a call and be live on a podcast. I've seen other podcasts do that, and I think that would be pretty cool if guys want to ask some questions. They could do it that way. So I'll hop in the Gen chat, and then for the guys who are there, just hop in and we'll see what's up. But week 11 is here, guys. This season's rolling. Right, and the first game we got 2 6-3 teams, the Snowhawks and the Bulldogs going at it. That's going to be fire. What an opener for the season. I've already picked all these games for the season on what I'm going to stream, right? So guys who are asking if, why is this team getting playing time when there's other teams that are better now than that team that should be playing, that is going to happen up until, once week 13 hits. I'll be able to flex some games. But I want to give those weaker end teams or teams that don't get that much notoriety an opportunity to be on, to have live games. So that's the reason why I'm sticking with those for so long, and pretty much just like how the NFL does. So why not go with that same system? Definitely seen some teams, come through, get the victory. How about the Cougars? They did that this past week. But getting back to this game, I am going with the Bulldogs to win this game. They got the home field advantage. They won the first 3 games of the season, lost the next 3 games after that, then won the next 3. I feel like the Bulldogs have kind of found their stride back again. And with the home field advantage, it's going to be tough. The Snowhawks definitely have found their stride right now. Defense is playing A1. Joseph Gidley is back being Joey G's, the Italian gunslinger, and they're balling, right? So this is hands down going to be a banger. Right, and Rob will be in the booth calling that game. That should definitely be a great game between those two squads. But going with the Bulldogs to win by a field goal or more. It was that close. All right. Then on Tuesday at 7:30, most likely because I think Rob's going to be good to call a Tuesday game this week. And then I'll see if I can try to get, Bill or Dunn or somebody to try to get in for the next. Well, Dunn can't do 9 o'clock game, so I'll have to try to see if Bill can call the Diablos and Hawks game. If not, then I'll have to get in there and get it done. But the Steamers and the Shamrocks, this is a big game. We just saw the Shamrocks lose to the Monarchs, which the Steamers needed, because if the Monarchs lost to the Shamrocks and they were up there, they would have been up on the Steamers 3 games. But because of that, now they're up on the Steamers by 2 games. And if they can beat the Shamrocks, then they're now within a win of the Shamrocks and still within a game of the Monarchs. So this is a must-win for the Steamers pretty much if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. Already at 6 losses. No one, again, expecting that. And I am going with, again, if you want to look at spreads, that's all on Neon Sports. And again, you can look at Neon Sports right here. If you scan this code, then you'll be able to see our Neon Sports, keep up with stats, players, everything you need to know about the league. It's all right there. All right. What's going on here? Oh, didn't turn it off. Let me look at the chat, see some guys saying some things. Says we play Tuesday, 7:30 SC. Okay, hard. Say I'll do it. You'll do what, Pat? Let me see. Can't even remember what I said. I guess hopping on. We'll see. I'll hop in there. Oh, Pat talking about Call of the Game. Oh, yeah, we might got chat, bro, because yeah, we'll see what's up, man. It's different though, man. I did manage to get in a call with Pat before, but me and you will talk. We'll talk. Let me see. So the Steamers and the Shamrocks, I have the Steamers bouncing back. This is a must-win game. I don't think that Reed is going to be that bad again. That streak can't be that bad for Wagner. What's killing Wagner, though? I'll tell you what's killing Wagner. What's killing Wagner is this guy doesn't even have this trait, but he keeps thinking he's Geno Gannon or something, trying to scramble. And he's slow, like extremely slow. And he's had some crazy escape moments where it's just like, yo, how didn't they sack this guy? And then he just gets out there, but more times than not, he's getting sacked. And that's kind of been his issue because that leads to him getting rattled and then he starts throwing bad passes, right? But I don't think another week of that's going to happen. Again, I'm putting him back in the Tampa Bay too. I think he's going to let that thing fly. So we'll see what happens. But the Shamrocks just coming off a bad game. They do have the home field advantage. Definitely a game to look out for. Diablos and Hogs. The Hogs, man, they got a rough stretch of games. They've been on a losing streak. This is a game they really need at home. But I am going with Coach Forbes in the Diablos. I like the way they looked this past week. I know, the Tigers are pretty good. Don't get it wrong at all. I think the Tigers are kind of honestly in the same realm, close to the Hogs. The Hogs got a lot of good talent. The difference for the Hogs from being kind of elite is the quarterback position. And I know Dunn likes to talk about this, being like, why couldn't he get a quarterback? I'm gonna tell you what, there was no quarterback that was going to really improve the Hogs that was available. So this is just really my response to Dunn's take on why the Hogs didn't make a move. And to say Glenn Hay, no, Glenn Hay would not have been the answer. That's a whole different style of quarterback. And that's one thing I took into account. You got a rookie quarterback who's surviving, building XP. He is the future of this team. Why would I get a 34-year-old quarterback to try to flip things around? Now, could he have possibly done that? Yeah, but again, what Ronnie Shanahan also has assistance with is the fact that he is a dual threat. So where he struggles as a quarterback, he still can make up a little bit running the football, right? And then you already have a great running game in Dre Shivers. So I just decided, hey, there's really no quarterback out there. I couldn't trade Jabri because by rule, once a guy is signed on free agency, he signed in his first year on a deal back, he cannot be traded for. And the reason that became a thing is because guys used to, and it's still going to stay a thing. Nobody say, well, guys aren't like that now. Guys are always going to be like whatever caused the rule to happen, right? Regardless. But guys used to keep guys on their team just to have as trade bait and then waste a year or something like that off a dude's career. And it's like, no, if you're going to sign the guy, make sure it's a guy you really need to keep back, right? So that makes more likely for guys to put players back in free agency for other teams to be able to utilize. So that's why Jabri Jackson could not be traded. Of course, I think a lot of teams would have been out there trying to get Jabri Jackson, right? But just couldn't do it. Now he's available next year. We're gonna see how that goes and everything. But at that time, and Ronnie Shanahan let the guy get his shine. Let the guy get his shine. There was no other quarterback out there that was really going to improve that offense that much. And I do think that the Diablos will get this win by 4 more points. So I'm going to go with that. Red Dragons and Bisons. We already know the Bisons been struggling. It's really on offense. Their defense has kind of been, bad too, but their defense has had to deal with a lot due to the lackluster offense. Joseph Torres does continue to have his struggles at the quarterback position. The receivers are showing their age too. They're struggling to get open. They are definitely struggling to get open for him. He is also making bad decisions passing the football, but he also at times is not getting the blocks he needs. So it's a combination of a lot of things going on with the Bisons. I am going to be going with the Red Dragons and Coach Davis to get this win in OKC. I think this is the biggest spread I have this week. I have the Red Dragons winning by 10 or more points. And then we had the Voyagers and the Pioneers. We just saw the Voyagers coming off a tough loss, embarrassing loss to the Miners. They need to win. The Pioneers need to win too because they've actually shown that they have the capability of possibly making the playoffs for the first time in franchise history, guys. They had a shot, and unfortunately we didn't get the footage against the Sentinels, but they almost took down the Sentinels, and they could have been above 500 right there, right? They've already taken down some pretty good teams. They got the home field advantage against the Voyagers team that just lost. This is a good opportunity for the Pioneers, but the Pioneers are going to have to show me that they are that team. They're going to have to show me that they are that team because I'm going to be taking Baker in that game to win by 4 more points with that spread. Lumberjacks and the Sentinels. Lumberjacks starting to fall off, like I said. They got a break with the Gunners upsetting the Explorers. And with that win, that keeps them 2 games ahead of the Explorers. And so this is a must win for them on the road. And I am actually going with the Lumberjacks. I think Jordan Granger and the Lumberjacks get it done on the road in Orlando. Sentinels kind of cut it close there with the Pioneers. I feel like, it's been 2 to 3 games. Jordan Granger has kind of struggled. He hasn't really been getting the blocks. He's been making some poor decisions too, just really looking like a rookie those last couple of weeks. But he's also a special talent at the quarterback position. I do think that you're not going to see him play like that too much longer. And I do think that he manages to get himself together on the road and get the win there in Orlando. Then the Barons and the Desperados. I'm looking at my phone at these spreads too, by the way, guys. So if you see me looking down on the angle, that's why. But the Desperados, man, I'm taking them to win by a touchdown or more. We already know the struggles going on with the Barons. Dorian Chavis, he's definitely seeming to get a little better. But it's Marquise Washington right now, bro. And he is on a tear recently. They started off hot, 3-0 and everything, took their loss and started going on a losing streak. Have bounced back. Now they're 6-3 and they lead a tough NRC South right now. With the Thunderbirds in it, they've beaten the Thunderbirds. They beaten and split with the Diablos. So that goes to show you the impact of Marquise Washington on this team and just the team in general, just being solid, doing what they've been doing, in years past. But I'm going with the Desperados to win by a touchdown or more with the 6.5 spread. Dreadnoughts and Marshals, coach versus coach game. Definitely going to take the Dreadnoughts in this one. It was great to see the Marshals get their first win of the season last week. They got the home field advantage this week. Could they shock us? They probably could. Who knows? A win might could spark them or the Cougars up. But the Dreadnoughts are just playing too good of football for me. So I'm taking them by 6 or more points with the 5.5 spread. Despite being on the road, that defense has been really good. I think they're really going to keep that offense, the offense of the Marshals, even despite the win, has been struggling. And so I do think that with that defense, they're going to have a hard time. And the Dreadnoughts, they've had struggles on offense too. Don't get me wrong. But they're more likely, in my opinion, to score than the Marshals are. So I'm going to go with the Dreadnoughts. Then we have the Miners and the Aviators. This is a much-needed win for the Miners to keep their playoff hopes alive. And honestly, just to keep everyone alive in the ARC West. Because the Aviators win this game, they've only lost 2 games this season. They win this game on the road, they'll be 8-2. And they've looked really good. But I am going to take the Aviators. I am going to take the Aviators in this game. The Aviators, they're a good bunch, man. They really are a good bunch. Kyle Bain being that dual threat. I think if they run Kingston Kinney enough times like they should, and Kyle Bain avoids turnovers in terms of like the fumbles, because he's actually a highly accurate quarterback. I gotta get at you, Frankie. Little bell here to you, Frankie. Trying to talk about that Matt Jones more accurate than Kyle Bain. I don't know about that. The deep ball, maybe, yeah. But Kyle Bain has like 95 short and mid accuracy, which is most of the throws you're going to make. And so, yeah, that's not the case, my guy. I would not have made a trade to get Matt Jones over Kyle Bain. But I think the Aviators are going to win this game. I got them winning by 4 or more points. Yeah, Frank. He's got 95. The only thing that's really killing him, literally, is the deep ball accuracy, which was like in the 70s, I think. I know for a fact that the mid and short are 95 plus, though. Like, this dude literally should be like a 90 overall quarterback, and he's fast as I don't know what, which is why he's actually playing good. He's not a bad quarterback, like, at all. The only thing that's really bad on him is his carrying, though. I know that was really low. I might just look at him real fast. Just want to go ahead and look at it to announce. So Kyle Bain has 95 short, 94 medium, and the deep accuracy is a 76. But he's got 90 throw power, which is, reasonable. You get by with that. Ain't bad. 88 throw on the run. Awareness is a 70. I think that awareness is what's killing him. Throwing the pressure is an 82, which ain't bad. 85 break sack. With 92 speed and 91 acceleration. The dude is really ridiculous. He said, where'd that come from? He actually came in the league. This was like back in the day, inflation era. The dude was actually nice. He had very high passing ratings coming in as a rookie. And he definitely was a guy who could have been one of those early monsters, but he was on the Thunderbirds and they had LC3 already. Shoot, he won a reload bowl already. He won that reload bowl for them. So yeah, the dude's actually like that, not gonna lie. But yeah, went through that game. The Crusaders and the Elks. I think I got the Crusaders in this one. Yeah, I got the Crusaders winning by 4 more points. I like how Eric Fisher's been playing this year and everything. The Elks are a competitive team, not an easy team to beat. But Ben Wakefield is back, and the offense, I think they're going to get things really rolling. I love the run game with the dual-headed monsters and Marlon Marshall and Darius Young. So yeah, I'm just going to take the Crusaders on the road in that one. 3.5 is the spread. Black Knights and Gunners. This is going to be pretty interesting, man. See Geno Gannon versus Tyon. You know, the Gunners just got a big win over the Explorers. Can they beat the Black Knights? They probably could. They probably could. But it really all depends on if Geno Gannon's having a bad day. And if that Gunners defense, though, can play as good as they did against the Explorers this past week, you know, that could pose some problems. But it's going to be tough to stop the leading candidate for MVP. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm definitely going with the Black Knights. And I'm actually going with the Black Knights by a 7.5 spread. I think they beat the Gunners by 8 or more points, by more than a touchdown. So that's my take on that. Thunderbirds and Tigers. This is usually always the kryptonite to the Tigers, right? Anytime they play the Thunderbirds, it's an ugly loss. And at least it has been for the past 4 to 5 years. They've been getting beat down. Kai Cashmore, in particularly, since he's been on the team, has taken at the very least 6 to 7 sacks in probably each one of those games. That's a lot. And they just don't seem to ever get it done against the Thunderbirds in that fashion, but they are vulnerable right now. Both teams are 3-6. Whoever wins will be third in the NRC South, and a much needed win somebody has to get. But I'm going to go with the Thunderbirds because the Tigers, they have to prove that they can get over the hump and beat the Thunderbirds. And I got them, yeah, with 4.5 spread, T-Birds by 5 or more points. Armadillos versus Monarchs. We've seen the Armadillos start to cool down. We're seeing some bad play from Chumlee. We'll see if Roland throws Chumlee back in the New Orleans offense. It was working for him. Again, don't know why he changed it up against the Cougars, and it definitely cost him. But will he change it back? Will it work going back again against the Monarchs, who just came off a big win over the Shamrocks, 38-22? I'm actually going to take the Monarchs, man. I think the Monarchs beat the Armadillos. Got the home field advantage. They're riding high. Armadillos starting to cool off, and I've seen Chumlee do this before, like I said. So with all those factors, I'm actually going to take the Monarchs in this one with a 2.5 spread. All right, and the Bulls and Explorers, both these teams struggling. Explorers is coming off a really rough loss after that PI, and they had the game in the bag and lost it. But the Bulls, they are really looking bad. If there's any time for a bounce back, though, for the Explorers, especially offensively, it's in this game because this secondary is the worst secondary in the RFL, ranked dead last in pass defense. So Daryl Johnson should have a field day against the Bulls defense. And what worries me the most for the Bulls is the offense is not looking anywhere near as good as it used to the last couple of weeks. Again, the most points they put up in the last 2 games was 13 points, and then last week just 6. So if they're looking like that against the Explorers, who we know got a really good defense, I don't see them beating the Explorers. So I'm going with the Explorers by a 4 or more point win. So 3.5 spread right there. And in the last game, the Cougars are live again. Can they get 2 back-to-back live win games? This is one of the bigger rivalries in the RFL 2 that is still around in the ARC North as the Cougars take on the Huskies in a big game. Of course, the Cougars, one more loss will pretty much guarantee there's no comeback. And the way the season's honestly been going for the rest of the teams at the division, yeah, I don't see the Cougars winning out in that fashion or anything. And I think the Huskies, they are going to be able to get it done most likely here at home. I got them by 4 more points. They got the big win over the Thunderbirds. The offense is back in that Tampa Bay style. Calvin Poole looked a lot more comfortable, and despite how good the Cougars defense is, we'll have to see how well they fare up against Keith Guyton. Keith Guyton tearing it up in the air right now. So we'll see. Like I said, last game, 11 catches, 112 yards, a touchdown. It'll be tough to stop him outside in the slot or anywhere they put him. And we'll see if James Ramos can lead them to a win. This is where we really get to see can Ramos lead this offense. Again, they only accounted for 13 points. 13 points offensively despite the win. Their first win they got over the Armadillos 20-7. Is that going to be enough? Can they get more? Can they produce more than 20 points this season, which they haven't done against the Huskies? Because I think you're going to need more than 20 points to beat the Huskies. Even though they've lost some games with less, but I think you're going to need more than 20. So we'll see if that happens. And that is the schedule for this upcoming week and my predictions on who I think is going to win a 3.5-point spread in favor for the Huskies to win. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get a look at the divisions and talk about, what teams have a shot at winning, right? What teams has a shot at winning their division so far? So get rid of that. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the full screen right here, guys, so you guys can see. I'm not showing up on the screen there because for whatever reason, when I try to put a camera over this, the computer starts to tweak out. So not going to go do anything like that. No games have been played, as you can see right here so far. So I'm safe to show you guys everything that's in the actual file. But let's get a look at these standings, man. Starting in the ARC first, of course. Here's a look at the rankings, though. You can see Dreadnoughts on top, Condors, kind of what the top 10 power rankings were showing there. But here we go. ARC North. This is why it's tough. The Hogs have taken those 4 straight losses. They were dominating the North, right? On top. Had the Huskies in second place at one point. Now they've dropped to the Pioneers. Pioneers even split with them. And look at this. The Pioneers are within a game of the Hogs, and they beat them. So if the Hogs are to lose this week, which they're predicted to, and the Pioneers, who have a tough game against the Voyagers, are able to pull that victory out, they could lead the ARC North just like that. If they lose, however, well, they did split with the Huskies, so I'm not quite sure. We'll have to look at the division. Let's see. What's the division record? Yeah, the Pioneers have already run half their division games. So with that, no matter if the Huskies even have the same record as them, they can't. The Huskies can't pass the Pioneers because they're 3-1 in the division, while the Huskies are 1-2. So all the Pioneers have to do is get the upset this week. I mean, that's definitely easier said than done because they got to beat the Voyagers. Not going to be easy. And the Hogs, if they want to stay on top of this, they got to break a 4-game winning streak. That's tough. Cougars got their first win, but yeah, this looks like they're definitely out of this. So if we're talking about who wins the North, it's still up in the air with these 3 teams, guys, which is crazy. If you had to make a guess right now, let me know in the chat. Who do you think this year wins the ARC North out of these 3 teams? Hogs, Pioneers, or the Huskies? Let me know. That's definitely competitive and up in the air. We get a look at the South. Despite the high number of wins, still competitive, as it's 2 games within, the other second half of this division. The Dreadnoughts were able to sweep the Aviators, not the Aviators, the Armadillos, as 2 of their 3 losses came, of course, from them in that sweep. They're second now in the South at 7-3. These guys definitely heavily competing for this division. Heavily competing for this division right now. Dreadnoughts are up, though, and they got the sweep. We get a look at division wins, and the Dreadnoughts literally have 1 more division game. If they are able to win that last division game, honestly, at that point, even if the Armadillos, even since they got swept, if they tie them in record, it's not going to matter. Dreadnoughts will be ranked over. So right now, it really looks like the Dreadnoughts are the favorites to win the ARC South. In third place are the Sentinels. They're 5-4, along with the Voyagers. After a tough loss, they could have been in third place again, but they dropped down to last after they lost to the Sentinels. So we get a look at again the divisions again here. Um, it's the only reason that the Sentinels are over them again is because they beat the Voyagers, but they have a worse division record. So if the Voyagers actually had more wins than them in this division, I think they might have still threw them over. I'm not quite sure on that, but not really. I don't think so. I think it definitely comes down to record first. So never mind. But competitive still here in the South. I think either it's going to be the Dreadnoughts or Armadillos though that wins the ARC South. Y'all let me know. Do you guys think the Sentinels or the Voyagers can get back into this? Let me know in the chat. ARC South. Excuse me, ARC East. Probably the most competitive division in the RFL right now. You got the Reload Bowl winning champs from last year in the Bulldogs. You got the MVP candidate in Geno Gannon leading the Black Knights to a 6-3 record like the Bulldogs. You got the Bulls who are starting to cool off right now, though. They're taking some tough losses, but even despite the 2 blowout losses they just had, they are 6-3 as well. And the Celtic Tigers are starting to get hot, and they just got a bye week after coming off of 2 big wins in their last 2 games, as they are 6-4, and the other teams all play this week. If they win, they stay ahead. Any team that loses most likely will fall under the Celtic Tigers. So let's get a look at the division. Look at how competitive the division games have been. The Celtic Tigers are 500 in the division, 2-2. You got the Bulls at 2-1. So if the Bulls are able to get one more victory, they should be able to most likely jump in this division. But I could see why they're not jumping the Black Knights, because the Black Knights beat the Bulls. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens here. The Bulldogs haven't played many. They've played the least amount of division games. Only 2 division games, won 1, lost 1. So this is the division to watch. Definitely the division to watch right here, man. The East always seems to be that way too. The only difference with this and the last division after the realignment is, you know, Celtic Tigers been here, Black Knights been here, Bulldogs been here, and I don't know why I'm blanking on the other team that used to be in the division here. I was just leading up to it and completely forgot. So my bad on that. But those teams used to go at it. Definitely all 4 of them. They still going at it with the Bulls included. In the West, we have the Aviators right now with a pretty strong hold, I'd say, 7-2. And despite the Red Dragons being within 2 games, look at this. They still have 3 more losses. So the Aviators actually have a lot more leeway in this, winning this division. And if we get a look at the division record, they haven't lost a division game yet, and they play the Miners. I think if they beat the Miners, man, they pretty much got this division on smash. But 3-0 in the West. The Red Dragons are 1-2. Miners are 2-1. So again, their record's really not bad. So that's what's keeping their playoff hopes alive. And the Bisons, they haven't won a division game yet. They're 0-3. So looking at these records, Bison's definitely out of this. Miners are 3 games away from the Aviators. Red Dragons again 2. Do you guys think that this division is sewn up? Or do you feel the Red Dragons or the Miners might actually find a way to get themselves to win the West? We'll find out. Aviators still looking really good. But that's it for the ARC. Let's go ahead and get a look at the NRC. And this is the NRC North, where the Lumberjacks, man, they're probably on their knees thanking the heavens that Tyon Nickerson was able to get his first win over the Explorers, because had the Explorers won that game like they should have, they would have been within 1 game after starting 1-4 on the season after the big injuries to Daryl Johnson and DeMarco Lando. And so they have a 2-win lead, but again, looking at the losses, they still only lost 1 more game than the Explorers. So when they go on their bye week, the Explorers still have an extra game to win. So technically, I will say the Explorers are still a game away from the Lumberjacks. So the Lumberjacks have to start winning and separating before things get bad for them. The Gunners getting their 2nd win. They're 2-7, 2-8 of the Barons. So obviously, the North is going to be won by one of these 2 teams here. And if we're looking at the division, this is great for the Lumberjacks. Even if the Explorers are to tie the Lumberjacks, the division record is just so off. Even if they lose, the only thing the Explorers can do is tie, actually. They can only tie the Lumberjacks in division record. Because if they lose their next two, that's all 6 of their division games. They'll be 4-2. The Explorers have to win out their next 3 division games to go to 4-2. So as long as the Lumberjacks can win one more division game, they're pretty much locked in there, and they're going up against the Gunners later on this season. So big shot for the Lumberjacks after that big upset win. They got to make sure they don't get upset themselves either by the Gunners. But definitely going to be won by the Explorers or Lumberjacks, 6-4 and 4-5. And we get a look at the NRC South. Right now, the Thunderbirds and Tigers, man, bottom half. Crazy to see the Thunderbirds at 3-6, Tigers at 3-6. I don't think these guys have a shot at all, especially with the way that the Diablos and the Desperados are moving. And if we're getting a look at division wins and losses, Thunderbirds still are pretty good in the division. They only lost once in the division. They're 2-1. They have to win out, so they have to split with the Diablos. With the Desperados. They've already beat the Diablos, so they have to try to get that sweep there, which is definitely going to be tough. The Tigers, they're playing this week, so they need a victory over the Tigers this week. Tigers, they need to win themselves as well, as they had the least amount of division wins at 1-2. That could kind of help them out. But honestly, just looking at the records and overall wins and things like that, this is definitely the Desperados and Diablos division more than likely to win here. I just don't see the Thunderbirds, with how season's been going, winning out and taking a spot. I don't see the Tigers doing that either. So it's either going to be Marquise Washington or now George McAfton. And honestly, I think the Desperados are more primed to get it done, but the talent of the Diablos, they can win this division. Who do you guys think will win the NRC South? Let me know in the chat. Then going into NRC East, things got interesting after the Monarchs win. With the Monarchs win being within a game now of the Shamrocks, and the Steamers and the Shamrocks playing each other, that gave the Steamers life. So the Steamers, again, a must-win game. They have to beat the Shamrocks. They have to get close to 500. If they do not beat the Shamrocks, this pretty much sections off the second half of the NRC East. And it's going to be between the Monarchs or the Shamrocks to win this division, to be honest. So I still feel like it's up to these 3 teams. Definitely up to these 3 teams. Let's get a look at division records. Again, Steamers only lost 1 game in the division, but so did the Monarchs and the Shamrocks. So it is going to be very important if the Steamers want to get back to prominence. They have to beat the Monarchs and the Shamrocks. I think those are the 2 teams that they have to face. They've already beat the Monarchs once, I believe. Yeah, so well, no, they beat the Marshals, so that was one of their division wins. And yeah, they had to beat the Monarchs too, because I don't think they played the Shamrocks. Yeah, so they defeated the Marshals, the Monarchs, giving them their only loss. So they have to beat them and sweep them again, and they have to sweep the Shamrocks, which starts this week. This is going to be tough. Going to be tough for the Steamers to get back into it, but they're definitely very much into it. As for the Marshals, nah, they're done for at this point, 1-8. But Shamrocks, Monarchs, Steamers, who wins it? And then the last division to go over, man. This is very competitive amongst 2 teams, Condors or the Snowhawks. The Condors are making the Snowhawks work for this division, man. Got swept by the Snowhawks, but it didn't even matter. I mean, look at this. Still got the same division record. Condors got 1 more win of an extra week over the Snowhawks. So the Snowhawks really have to win out their last game, and they just have to stay ahead of the Condors, really. And even if they even up with the Condors, honestly, because of that sweep, they still can win this division. So the Condors, they know what game they have to play. They have to keep winning, and they have to stay ahead of the Snowhawks. Snowhawks are not making it easy for sure. But yeah, this division is definitely between these 2 teams, in my opinion. You can see a few games behind is the Elks, but I just don't feel like they have the talent to really get back into this one. We don't know what this Crusaders could do with Ben Wakefield back, but already 6 losses. I don't know. I think it's out of reach for those two teams, Condors and Snowhawks, for the West. I do think the Snowhawks win this, though. So with that being said, that's a look at the divisions and who we think most likely going to win those, or at least who I think. And of course, you guys giving your opinions in the chat. Already went on the schedule, as you can see there. Let's get a look at these awards and see how things have shaped out now since we've missed a couple of podcasts, and see who's leading still. So Geno Gannon's still the front runner for league MVP, and Jordan Granger is at number 2 for league MVP. That's crazy. The rookie is balling, and he's at number 2. Justin Jones at 3. Got Wade in there still, and Savoy. Just going to quickly go through the list there, but yeah, Geno Gannon's still leading that candidacy there. But look out for Jordan Granger, man. He's still in there. Offensive Player of the Year, we get a look at ARC awards. They got Jordy Johnson leading the bunch, Geno Gannon right behind him. And I do feel like Geno Gannon couldn't win this award as well. Just being the quarterback, having those rushing touchdowns. If he keeps going off, I think he will surpass Jordy Johnson. Jordy Johnson, though, is having a tremendous receiving season, which I know for a fact he's got to still be leading that receiver of the year. But Geno Gannon could be looking to swipe that award away from him. Does have a rushing touchdown on the season, though. Waiting in the conversation. I'll just look at the main guys. Nolan Angelo still leading for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but Jesse Newhouser of the Pioneers, he is having a monstrous season, and he is catching up. So look out for that. Boucher's making some plays, too. Killian Bain in the mix. Okay, David Leathers. Ingram still on the list. Okay. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Shanahan leading for the ARC. I know Dunn said that Grant was leading before he got injured, but he actually wasn't. Shanahan, after I showed the awards, actually was leading after that week. And most likely, regardless, he's going to be that guy to lead that because, of course, the quarterback position with the yards and everything. Now, the QB stats aren't looking all that great, but he does have rushing stats, which are adding to those passing stats in which he's got. I think he's tied up in touchdowns and interceptions. But the rushing stats are definitely adding to it. And Ajon Grant did just get injured and for some weeks, so he most likely is going to be out of the loop. We're seeing Kentaro Sheffield getting some catches. Same with Simmons, Washington. I just feel like this is Shanahan's award. I don't see anybody on this list that's going to take that away from him, especially being that starter. And that's one of the main reasons, again, why I wanted to just keep him at the position. That's going to be massive development, and is definitely going to boost him moving forward, into the next season. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Miles Brock has taken away from the last time we had Quincy Jenkins leading in that category from the Black Knights. So Miles Brock, man, who jumped up big time at the defensive tackle position, is leading that. Austin Sanders just came off a 4-sack week this past week. He's jumped up to 3. Could possibly, be in the mix. He needs to get some more games like that, some more pressures. Angelo Michaels is in that mix. Another defensive tackle that's jumped up as a rookie in sacks to help him. Louis Quintana. A couple other guys. Seth Brewer's even still in here. Okay. Again, shout out to EJ. I saw earlier, Bailey. EJ Bailey had his first career touchdown. Geno Gannon now leading for best quarterback in the RFL. Took that over Wade. Wade has had a few weeks where he struggled and had some turnovers. So Geno Gannon looks like he's back to rookie season, man, where he won all those awards. So Geno Gannon right there. Justin Jones, of course, we know he's there. Kyle Bain. Best running back, Matt Wheaton, running back for the Bulldogs. I think he won that last year too. Kingston Kinney's approaching as well. Levi Dixon not really having a good game, good season on the ground statistically. But the main reason why he's even here is because he has 9 rushing touchdowns. So he's just been able to find the end zone early and often, which I just, Madden, I do not agree with this. If a guy is having a lot of touchdowns, that's great. But if he's averaging like less than 3 yards a carry, that's wild. I don't think he should be in this category. I'd probably have him like bottom, in the top 10, bottom 10 of it. But yeah, to have him at 3, especially over Dre Shivers, I don't know about that. Probably could, yeah, I don't know about that, but move on. And as expected, Jordy Johnson leading the ARC for receiver. Keith Guyton right there, right behind him. He's getting a lot more targets too. So, but Jordy Johnson definitely well ahead, leads the RFL as a whole in receiving yards over 1,100, and he might even break Keith Guyton's record this year. He is a good 700 yards away from that. So, yeah, could happen. Offensive lineman got Damon Hickman. I can't remember who was here before, so not even going to go through the lineman list there. Best defensive lineman, still Carson Stevenson up there in sacks, leads the conference. So he is at leading in that category. Stanley McQueeson's right behind him. Max Moore, Angle. Okay. And at the linebacker position, obviously the defensive player of the year right now leading that category is Nolan Angelo, who also, by the way, forgot to mention, got re-signed to a $106 million deal for 3 years. So he'll be a dreadnought for life, I guess. As for, and Jesse Newhouser, of course, is up there. So Jesse Newhouser is having a fire season for the Pioneers. Keani Jones leading the ARC for best DB. And Koye there, I think he was already leading that anyway, but yeah, nothing's changed there. Best kicker, you got the Armadillos right there, Kerry McCoy. Nothing really go there. Olivia Queensell, though, in there. All right, now NRC awards for Offensive Player of the Year is DeAndre Can. DeAndre Can has the most receiving touchdowns out of any receiver in the RFL with 11. And he's rightfully leading that and over Jordan Granger. As Jordan Granger comes in at 2, still showing you how great of a rookie season he's having. I think he's top 3 in passing yards right now, too. Got Kincaid, Woods, okay. Defensive Player of the Year, Kevin Kudon leading the conference in sacks. Most likely that's what this award pretty much goes to, is DNs and stuff like that. But Tyrone Johnson, Elks defensive end, he's pretty good. Cole Bacon, we see him wreaking havoc as well. So, yeah. Defensive Player of the Year. Looks like Kudon definitely has the lead in that. I think he's like 2 sacks over the next guy. Offensive Rookie of the Year, obviously Jordan Granger. He's second in MVP. So, still leading that. Got Chris Clark here at 3. Corbett at 2. Nothing really too much. Chavis at 8 now. All right, Defensive Rookie of the Year for NRC is Elijah Walker. Definitely up there with the sacks with Brock Frederick. First-round draft pick right behind him for the Shamrocks. Both teams having some good seasons. Nothing has changed there, though. Best quarterback is Jordan Granger leading the NRC. And I'm going to be honest here, guys. I think Jordan Granger might win Best Quarterback of the Year. And the reason why is because Jabri Jackson's not playing anymore now that he's been benched due to the losing season of the team. Tom Wilson, and he could, try to rival him and everything, but just came off a bad game where he just threw 4 interceptions. Chase McCoy, at the rate he's going, he could be a little bit of a problem. But honestly, I feel like where Jordan Granger is at, it's definitely his award to lose. He might just end up being best quarterback in the NRC. Running back, Jacob McDonald. Nothing has changed here, but Tavion Hall still rivaling that. And you see Madison, Axel. These two always seem to just flip-flop back and forth who's going to win an award. Best receiver, DeAndre Can, obviously, leading the league in those receiving touchdowns. And second in yards. He's literally 1 yard away from a 1,000-yard season. Then we got Roy Kincaid there, having a good year. Roland Woods, C.J. Robinson. Best old lineman, Case Kern right now. I don't think that has changed, and that's for the Snowhawks right there. Best D lineman, obviously Kevin Kudon for Defensive Player of the Year, getting all those sacks. Cole Bacon there second, though. And then best linebacker, the old vet, still winning awards, man. This is a good little 3-way toss-up, I think. Taylor Mays has been good. Zachary Dombrowski has been good, and he gets a lot of opportunities due to the defense having to be on the field a lot. But, yeah, Marvin Woolfolk, he could win another Linebacker of the Year of the award in his career late in it. So, front runner still. Best defensive back, Sheldon Reinhardt. So, that's 2 Diablos right there. Just came off an interception. We saw Leo Loso last was leading this. But Sheldon Reinhardt right now has taken that. Richard Grooms right there at 3-2. Caden Blair, another community member. Ray Franklin out there. He's been making some plays. Cole McAnley. Maurice Risen even coming in at 10. All right, and well, for best kicker right now is the Shamrocks kicker Rylan Cody. I think he's a rookie too, so that's awesome. So that is it, guys, for the awards. I think I'm pretty much done showing everything that needs to be shown right now on the podcast. So I guess now I'll leave it open to guys to if they want to ask a question about the league or present something. I'm about to jump in the gin chat of the RFL. And if someone wants to hop on, ask a question or something like that, just feel free to hop on. Don't get on there wilding though. I'm telling you that right now. Somebody jumps on the pod and start tweaking out, for sure getting a suspension. Um, so don't do that. Where's the community section? All right, here we go. Okay, I'm jumping in right now. I'm in the gin chat. Now, the thing is that's weird though. I don't know if I can hear uh I have forgot about the audio. So hopefully I can hear y'all. But if you want to ask a question live and get a response instead of, in the chat or something, you're part of the RFL Discord, feel free to hop in and ask. Hopefully nobody random who's not watching the podcast just hops in and start wilding out. You'll have to find that out for season 10, man. Have to find that out for season 10, Pat. After the down, Reed's still top 10 QB. Yeah, Reed's still balling, man. Like I said, I just feel like what's killing him is that scrambling crap. He doesn't even have a scrambler trait. Like he has no scrambler trait, and he just keeps running, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why he does that. That definitely kills a few drives. Now, granted, too, the offensive line has done him dirty the last couple weeks too. There's definitely been a lot of moments where he hasn't gotten good blocks, and pressure just been coming through there. So the line's been kind of trash too. So I will say that. Let's see what other question. Say Dombrowski's been hurt. I don't know about that. You going off of Neon? Don't go off of Neon when it comes to injuries, because Dom definitely has been in the game. Let me see stats. Yeah, he's definitely not hurt. He wouldn't even be on that list if he was. Um, yeah, it's Dombrowski right here. Yeah. Oh, he's out for 3 weeks now. Yeah, he just got injured. If you meant that he just got injured, then yeah, that's tough. Yeah, so more than likely that award seems to be going to oh boy, um, Marvin Woolfolk. Vets out here killing at the linebacker position. All right, anybody got any other questions? I ain't seen nobody hop in the Discord thing yet, so guess we're all good. Guys want to ask stuff right here. Yeah, Aviators definitely got some tough games coming up too. Yo, what's going on, Nate? Okay, seems like he's coming through too. Are you guys able to hear him say something again, Nate? Yeah, it's not coming through. Say it again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. I can hear you, but mm. uh, all right, say something now.
Yo, hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're definitely coming through now. This has been so weird. I don't know what's going, and I can hear you. So, let me turn it down a little bit.
Oh, all right.
All right, cool. So, what question you want to pose or thinking about right now?
Um, so this is kind of in the future. With the reloadable, do you know where the venue is, or like how does that work in the game?
Uh, I don't know until like I guess they show the playoff and they say where the championship game is going to be. Um, I have to look that up. I don't know if I can find that right now in the game, but whatever the championship game in the year that we're in, wherever that's going to be located at, that's where we'll have it.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find something, but I don't see anything that that says when that's where that's going to be at.
All right.
All right, you got any other things, recent actions, opinions you probably want to hear?
Um, hmm. Been an interesting season, all I can say, you know.
Yeah, definitely has. What has shocked you the most? I'll say. Let me ask you a question. What shocked you
Oh,
the most so far this season?
I would probably say if I look at the standings, I should probably go on Neon and look at the standings. I'm too lazy. I'm just go back to the podcast. Uh, my biggest surprise is probably um the Explorers being 4-5. Like I wasn't expecting them to have a losing record right now, but
Yeah,
it's still in the middle of the season. Not middle. Wait, is it in the middle of the season?
I'll still call it the middle, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, it's in the middle of the season, so I'm not gonna be one of those people that are like, oh, they're gonna lose every single game and they're gonna be trash and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be that person because
yeah,
anything could happen in the RFL. That's what you say. You know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah.
anything can
It
happen.
ain't just what I
So,
say. It's just what we've seen. You know, it's
oh
wild.
yeah, if you've seen in the history,
Yeah,
you would see all this crazy stuff going on.
yeah. I see CP just hopped in here, man. So we got Chris Park also on the show. What's going on, man? You got something you want to ask? Your opinion on or something? And then we'll go to Pat who hopped in, and then finally we'll go to Rodney. We'll save him
Yo,
for
yo,
last because he
yo,
got that 40 on. Well, yeah.
yo,
Welcome
Yo, what's going on,
CP
CP?
2023.
man. I just wanted to say, I'm gonna need Reed Wagner to stop trying to run, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's not his
yeah.
skill set, man. That's
Yeah, I
not his
don't know
skill
what
set.
he's
He's a
doing that
pocket
for. I
passer.
had to look at his attributes just to make sure. I'm like, yo, is he got a scrambling trait or something? Like, and I look up there, he don't even got that. I'm like, yo, who does this dude think he is right now? I've
Yeah,
never
that's
seen
why.
this.
Here's the
Yeah, that's
problem.
why Amir is there. If you want somebody to run, you give it to Amir. You don't do it
Well, now
yourself.
Amir
Come
is
on,
gone
man.
for 6 weeks, so it's like,
Dang.
yeah, got
So what
Like
is
injured.
he? What is he? An
who,
improviser?
No,
like
no,
who?
he's a field general.
I
So he
have to
shouldn't
look
even
up.
be. By no means should he actually be scrambling as much as he is, but he's
Oh,
just doing it.
Here's the problem. He thinks he Lamar Jackson, but he really Tom Brady.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean, what? Like, I mean, it could be the playbook though. Like, if he see like an open take, then he might just be taking it. It could be the playbook.
thing is though, he's been in 3 playbooks, right? Only changed from Tampa Bay because of course, the penalty thing and delay hit or miss thing. But it didn't mean the book was bad. So that's one book he's been in. Then I put him in Detroit where he could pass a lot, which is what the team should do. Uh, he still was trying to run in that, and he had a good game, and then it was bad. Then I put him in Green Bay, which made them run a mirror more, which was working.
oh,
Then he got injured, and then like he's still not for whatever reason, he's still trying to scramble, and he's not. It seems like in that book he's not making the right decisions.
oh.
Like he's just a lot more inconsistent. So I'm like, I might as well just throw him back into Tampa Bay. So he's been in the books. He's just
Oh, yeah.
not. I don't know. He just ain't vibe with
Yeah.
those last two. I
I ain't
don't
gonna
think.
lie though. Like, I'd rather him run than sit there and throw the ball away or take a sack. Like,
I
Yeah.
guess getting some yards, it's okay. And for
or
some reason
like,
on Neon, for your team, it says everyone is retired.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
bro.
Neon Sports thing where I guess because like my main account that created the franchise was through that. So I think Neon Sports has a glitch where the main account, like the main commission of that league, his team just for whatever reason doesn't show up. So that's weird.
Oh,
I haven't heard
yeah.
anything from Pat. I see Pat's in here though, man. You got a question for us?
Well, I was waiting for everyone else to get done. I asked in the YouTube chat about the Hall of Fame starting next year,
Oh,
and
okay.
just wondering how we're gonna go about doing that.
Well, I'm really just gonna choose since the league has been still fairly young and it hasn't been that many years. I'm gonna have a limited amount of guys, maybe 5 guys that I'll throw in the Hall of Fame each year. Um, we already know Dre's gonna be one of those guys. There's definitely some other names I think some people forgot about,
Yeah,
and this is like more
figured that.
so they haven't played as many years or had the stats, but like might even be the award winner guys. Like I don't know if anybody remembers Tyrone Brennan, the Voyagers,
Oh
his
yeah,
first 2 years. Dude was a monster. Yeah, it's a couple guys, man. Like just even for their impact for the short amount of time that they had. Dondy Woods, I remember him with the Sentinels. Uh, and the Dondy Woods and Dontavia Ratliff. Remember them too. For the Sentinels, they were both picked up out of free
That's a
agency.
line, right?
Yeah, both of them, and they were both picked up out of free agency back when we had them high rated free agency players, and they were both like 99. That joint is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
They were killing.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. That was a good question though, because I remember you saying a few years ago you was gonna start the Hall of Fame in season 10. That's
Oh
a good
yeah,
question.
Miles Kerrigan.
Oh yeah.
Miles Kerrigan too. He's definitely a good candidate.
Obviously Dre.
Yeah, of course I ain't gonna. We will find out when it gets here. I'm not gonna give away who I think
Oh
right
yeah,
now, which will obviously
question.
spoil it. But I'll definitely do a lot more research into who really. Mainly gonna look at the main influential guys.
Okay,
Guys
because
like that, guys who have recently. If it's a guy who recently retired too, that still had those great statistics and as good as an impact, most likely they'll get it too over those guys that I mentioned that only played a few years but had a big impact. Like Tyrone
already that's
Brennan
good.
probably might not get in there the first
Uh,
wave of 5.
Did you already say Brady Hudson, or am I tripping?
The way
uh,
he's going to
Brady
be in there, yeah,
Oh
Hudson,
no,
at some
Cody
point.
Wolf. Well,
Yeah.
when he retires, I
Hunter
don't think Holden Wolf
Mackey.
retired yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he
Hunter
ain't
Mackey.
retired?
now Holden Wolf's with the
Did Holden?
Crusaders, right? Brady Hudson's done. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, Brady
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hudson.
Brady
Yeah,
Hudson.
he got to be in there.
Yeah,
Did
The
Carrington,
best
Crowell
explanation
retire? Good.
Crowell's retired. The best
Yeah, Carrington.
explanation I've ever heard about a Hall of Fame is it should be there should be people in there who you can't tell the story of the league without. If you
yeah,
can't tell the story of the league without mentioning them, they should be in.
definitely. And you already mentioned great candidates. Dre first ballot for sure. All right. Any other questions? On anything that's happened so far in the league you want to, have a discussion about or anything of that nature?
Other than Rodney 40 Hands over there, no.
Bro, come on.
All right. 40 hands is crazy.
I think I'm good, man. Go Steamers. Free Q.
Free Q2 is backwards, man.
It's death row over here, man.
We love you too, Rodney. Okay.
All
Y'all
right,
dope.
then. Well, it seems like let me go ahead and check the chat, see if we got anything. So, yeah, I forgot. Now it's CJ
Yeah, I
Jones.
forgot.
Okay, yeah. That was that was you talking. Problem is DJ missed like 3-4 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that Amir was injured. My bad.
Yeah, all good.
Oh,
And
I remember. With Reed Wagner, did you make him based on the backbreaker character?
Yes. He came from the Indianapolis Spartans. And
Oh yeah, I remember playing that game back in the day, and I
yeah.
remember him on that team.
Yeah, Backbreaker had a huge influence as to why I created the league because this channel was called the Backbreaker Football League first, and I literally created every single Backbreaker football team, which was way more than 32 on NCAA 14 at the time, and that literally took me like 2 years to do. So I did that. I literally took 2 years to build those teams, and then by that time, NCAA didn't release any games anymore. So it was like, this game's too old. I can't do this. And then I just looked at Madden and I saw the relocation teams. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna just do it with these guys. And so I was able to take him from that league. I think he's the only player. I think I took somebody else, but they didn't survive long because they weren't high overalls. It was like mainly guys I like to play with on the game. And so yeah, I went with Reed Wagner, took his attributes straight off those 4 things, those only 4 ratings that they had in the game, and that's how he came about. And yeah, other players, actually, yeah, Jabri Jackson actually came from Backbreaker 2 because I had created a team called the Dover something, and I created him based off of my quote unquote stepsister. So yeah, her name was Jabria, and I just thought of Jabri Jackson, and so that's how I was able to come up with him. Um, but yeah, I just went off of
Ah.
yeah, I just came up with whatever was there. Like I don't like creating dudes straight up and just giving ratings. Like every player that came from like that was generated from a storyline in the RFL, they came with whatever they had or whatever was given. Same thing happened to Jabri Jackson. Reed Wagner had his stats literally from Backbreaker Football League. Uh, Geno Gannon, literally his rookie stats came from when you played long shot and you looked at his ratings, whatever that was, I gave him as a rookie coming in, and I based those ratings similar to for Marquise Washington too because they were supposed to be like the same type of guy. So that's how I went. I don't like creating and just making a player there. Daryl Johnson even came from a player I submitted into a whole different franchise, which was with Uncle Sam Reject and Kerblam King when he was running his own, YouTuber series thing. And I just told him like, hey, can you send me what his ratings were or whatever? And that's how I made him. So yeah, even
Oh
even
yeah,
Devin
yeah.
Wade got
Oh,
his
that's
stats from the game. Cruz
yeah.
got his stats from Ultimate Team cards. That's how I came up with those.
Oh, that's great. I
Yeah,
remember like the old RFL thing. It took you like a month or two to even like put all the players on like the other game. Like we had to take like a break for like 2 or 3, or that was before it was like an online franchise.
yeah, yeah. It definitely had to take a minute, bro, because that was back when I was building them things on my own. I used to literally build all 32 teams on my own. It's only like a few players that I missed out on, but to do that for 4 years, and then finally get help, I mean, yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. I ain't gonna lie, but I definitely appreciate the coaches now and everyone who does help build. Uh, with that process, definitely has taken a lot off me. I don't think I definitely could have been able to do that as long as the league has been up, without that help, because I had a lot going on with school and all that. But oh yeah, shout out Eric Ashley, those guys. I don't think y'all understand the team. And we'll start this. Yeah, bro, it was definitely a lot, bro. It was a lot, definitely a lot. But
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah.
what are you gonna say?
No, I said I remember like there was times in like the old season, like maybe like season 2 or 3 or something, where like it would take you like a month or two to like put every player on like the new rosters and stuff like that, and we had to like wait like 2 months. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't mad because like you had to do all that by yourself, so we were just kind of waiting for that.
Yeah, then the college series came around. I always wanted to do college 'cause I was like, man, I want to see where these prospects come from. I want to know that have them have a story too when they come in. And then, when that mod thing got along, I got with Rob, I was like, yeah, this is the opportunity for us to get this thing going. And once we started that thing up in 2019, Gannon already had the storyline, the long shot stuff. Well, not the long shot stuff, but it was I think that was what came after long shot, and we used that. Yeah, that thing was yeah, the league just been growing, man. And I still feel like I know guys had college leagues and stuff like that, but they were solely focused on that. I still feel like uh definitely the innovator of the guy who did pro and college at the same time brought it to the main pro. So like I think that's a great feature. I'm seeing other leagues do the same thing now. Start trying to add in the collegiate level before they get to the pros. And so, yeah, I take pride in that, man. You know, definitely take pride in it.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate all you guys
Yeah, it's
too
great to
being on a journey along the way. But I will say this though, this stream is starting to get a little long. Anybody got I'll stay for like 4 more minutes since it's about to be 10:25 on my time. But if anybody got any more questions or anything to ask, feel free.
No,
Or
thank you very much for all the work you do, Smitty, and thanks to everybody
appreciate
else who helps run the league.
yeah, shout out to all the guys, man. Shout out to all the guys. Dorian,
Yeah,
you
it's great
hopped
to see
in
this
here,
big
man. You
grow.
ain't say nothing. What's going on, man?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I thought y'all was just in VC. I turned off the
What I
podcast like
tell
15
y'all,
minutes
I
ago.
told y'all I was gonna be a guy that did this. Good thing he ain't say nothing though. But yeah. But yeah, I think we're all good. I don't see anybody asking any questions in the chat. You guys already said y'all were good earlier. So I appreciate you guys coming through. Just wanted to make sure I got a podcast you guys' way. I know I've been having a couple canceled. But week 11 on the way, guys. First game, Snowhawks, Bulldogs, 2-6-3 teams. It's gonna be a fire game. Rob Roby will be calling that game at 7:30. So make sure you guys are there to watch it. With that being said, it's your boy Smitty, RFL Commissioner and play-by-play commentator. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Man, Grayson said, "Of course it's Dorian." I see how it is. I'm sorry I didn't notice that the stream